Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Stay Report. I am one of your host companions, Devin Decker, and joining me, special guest host companion, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for William Fournier.
Good evening, afternoon, or morning, whenever you listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. As special guest host companion, it is an honor to be here, and I'm very excited for the show.
Well, it's an honor to have you here, especially because this is a time capsule episode. Unless it isn't, unless we decide that we had Will on the show, so we're going to run this, like, in time. But who knows?
Well, yeah, it's nice to be, I mean, as much as I like chronological things, the use of me whenever needed is also fine.
Yes, and we'd love to have you. So, Sejin has no idea that this is happening, so we're going to bring him into the show right now, and let's see what happens.
And we'll see how the third host companion deals with being a third.
How he feels about being replaced.
Casually replaced.
Yeah, just casually. Hello!
What just
Hello,
happened?
Sejin.
What is going on?
It's all happening at once. It's all happening.
I thought Devin was still fixing a computer problem, so I was sitting here like trying to figure out if we should just record at a different time.
The computer
The
problem
main
was
my
Will's.
computer. I am the problem.
All right. What's going on, man?
Good afternoon, morning, whatever time zone it is for you. How are things?
It's afternoon, mid-afternoon for me. It's good. It's good. Ran errands. Now I'm sitting here talking to you, so like it's a pretty good day so far.
Great day, great day. I've been awake at least an hour, so I'm on board.
Yes. All right.
Sejin, I'm so happy I was able to keep this a secret and a surprise. So that other person who just joined us.
I mean, Devin and I have been planning this for at least
12 hours.
Get everyone in. Yeah, at least 12 hours we've been planning this whole occasion.
12 whole hours of him keeping a secret. I am surprised, legitimately proud of you, Devin.
In my defense, I was asleep for like 9 of them. So
that's how I knew I could keep it a secret. Because Will wouldn't ruin it if he was sleeping.
The only way you can keep a secret is if one person's asleep.
Hey man, I'm committed to that bit now.
I mean, that seems legit. Yeah, I'm on board.
So our other host companion
Always
and our
keep a secret
usual
from a sleeping person.
our usual host companion Sejin is here. It's a time capsule episode, and I thought since this time capsule episode we're going to be examining those weird movies that are like same bat plot, different bat title.
Yes.
We should invite the guy who gave me the idea to do that onto the show.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. I'm still reeling from Will being here and you already recording when you called me.
Yeah, we just went straight in. We just dived straight in for it. There's no no build up here. Just hey, we go.
It's
it's
a time capsule episode. That's the fun of it.
That we're doing this by the seat of our pants. I think we admitted on yesterday's actual episode that that's how we do every episode.
Yeah, I mean, you keep talking about how the sausage is made. I think it is last minute. Hang on a second, we need some sausages. And here we are.
What meat do we have in the freezer?
Serve me some sausages, I guess. I did not want to say that.
All right,
that was the only segue I had.
All right.
Well, don't just say that. I cleaned my freezer just this morning, and I found 3 loose veggie sausages. So here we go.
Oh,
So-
That's not a euphemism. That's literally what happened.
All right.
What could it possibly be a euphemism for?
I don't know. Where do you
3
keep your veggie
vegetarian
sausages?
limp dicks? I don't know.
Oh no, they were solid. They were in the freezer.
They were in the
There's no
freezer.
liquidness
That's
here.
right. Oh my god. Oh, this is great. This is off to the exact start I hoped for. Sejin, will it help you calibrate if Will informed me that he has a quiz for us? If we do a quiz, will that
I
help you
do.
calibrate to the topic?
Wow, I can't believe I'm saying this, but bring on the quiz.
I mean, to be fair, the quiz is very unrelated to the topic. The quiz was one I wrote for your 100th episode, which was a few episodes ago now.
Yeah, God knows how long now, because we don't know when we're going to use this episode. So sure, yeah. The lost episode, I like this.
We're going to do a completely out of date, possible out of date, whenever chronologically used quiz based on a episode that was either a few episodes ago or maybe months ago.
But as long as we put this episode out before the time loop brings us back to that episode again, I think we'll be fine.
I mean, yeah, or we time it perfectly with the loop to be in the episode.
Oh, so that we can
good.
build the loop upon the loop?
Yes.
Madness.
Double loop.
Quantum madness.
I mean, if you're going to quantum something, the leap's been done, so I guess madness is the next answer. But yeah, I have written a very special Say Report quiz.
I am very excited, man. Let's do this thing.
So it's an 8-question quiz, and it's based purely on the Say Report.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, God. Oh,
So
no.
this is, how good are you at remembering things you've talked about in the Say Report?
Season, you're going to win a quiz.
I'm-
So, you know, that's where we're at right now, guys.
I'm upset because this is going to be the most embarrassing quiz I've ever taken. But let's do it.
I've got faith in bits of it being great, and other bits where you're going, oh god, and just panicking.
Oh, so it's going to be a
right
quiz.
Yes, so the panic now, and then later you can be like, wow, that was cool.
Now. Ask me a damn question, man. I'm sitting here
All right,
on the
have we
edge
got
of my
pen and
seat.
paper ready to go, or notes on
God.
phones, or whatever we're using.
Oh, we should have paper? Oh, that's a British quiz,
Hold on,
right?
you don't have
It's
to.
not like an American
proper
quiz
quiz.
show where we just
There's going to
answer.
be math in this one.
I mean, you're welcome to just answer, but I wanted it to be more of a competition back and forth between the two of you.
All right. I got you. I got it right in front of me. I'm good to go.
I got a notes.
Okay, question number 1 in the very special Say Report quiz. Now, when I say to date, I mean to date just before your 100th episode.
Fair enough.
How many very special episodes have there been?
Oh, wait. If I do that right.
That doesn't count mini reviews, right?
No, it is just the ones that are titled as very special episode for something.
Okay, I think I got it. If I did my math
Question
right.
2.
There really was math.
Episode
I'm like
1
sitting...
was entitled... Have you drawn it? I would like to show you're working. Extra points for showing you're working.
Wait, sorry. Second question was what's the title of episode 1?
Sorry, so no. Episode 1 was entitled Spoilers and contained spoilers for which 2 Channing Tatum franchises?
Oh, God.
Oh,
Channing Tatum?
What?
Yeah, you spoke about, and it's listed in the description of the episode as well. You spoke about 2 different Channing Tatum franchises in episode 1. I mean, there aren't many.
I don't think that we would have
I
given that
thought
many
episode
spoilers
1 was
because-
Shantae Street.
No, the first special? Is that what you're talking about?
No, episode 1 is titled Spoilers. If you go back to your stream,
Oh my
as
god.
I did,
Oh, no.
That means
maybe
that,
episode
like,
2, but hey, there's an episode called Spoilers, and it contains spoilers for 2 Channing Tatum franchises. Which ones are they?
okay.
I think that's the more important part of the question, Devin.
Yes.
I can't even think of franchises. All right, well, I'm only going to put 1 down because that's the only one I can think of.
I can't think of. Is it a franchise if he's only in the first movie and then he dies?
Yeah, that can be fun. Things Channing Tatum was involved.
Well, now you gave me an answer.
Did I?
Yeah, that's why
There's
I'm here.
2 of those.
I'm absolutely fine with you guessing.
Oh, I'm guessing.
I mean,
There's no
I'm not
way I know
questioning that
this.
I'm absolutely now questioning whether he was even in one of these films, but I'm pretty sure it's cool. He was definitely in one of them. So
This is the most Say Report quiz ever, Will,
Oh,
just so you know.
I mean, I aim to please, and this is why we're here, I think.
Oh, you know what? I have all of the episodes on my computer.
That's cheating. You can't do that.
Oh, you're right. Damn.
Hey, bud. Hey, what you doing? Did you forget what we were doing?
I forgot that it was a quiz.
At the very least, don't tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't actually. I'm gonna cut down. He wasn't in one of these films. I think I lied. I think he auditioned for it, and it was really bad. So,
Well, I have put 2 down, and we are going to go forward with this question with my 2
you will
answers.
all definitely get a point for 1.
I hope
Because
so.
he was not in one of the ones I listed. Anyway, someone's cutting the grass outside my window. I hope it isn't coming through.
Not until you
there
brought
it
it
is.
up. You think that, like, maybe it was there all along, but then you mentioned it and we noticed it? Like Grover
I'm into
saying
it.
that sounds like a fucking excellent idea?
Oh God.
I'm just going to shut the window. But while I shut the window, question 3, which you definitely should know the answer to. May, every year, is what?
Oh.
Like, if you don't know the answer to that one, guys, you shouldn't be doing the show anymore.
Siegen, it's the 5th month.
Yeah, no, thanks. I got it. I already have my
the
answer.
The 5th month. Well done.
Points.
Nailed it.
I don't think you can disagree that it is the 5th month.
You just made
You
me
are
right.
correct, but let's be aware. It's a Save Report quiz, so...
Oh my God. Okay,
God.
I'm good. I'm ready.
Ready? Okay, question 4. Episode 9 of the Say Report references a True Rhode Island challenge, one that I'm very proud to say I have completed. What challenge did you talk about?
I know.
I was gonna say, is that quiet contemplation, or are you panicking? And
I think
Not
that's
writing
the
things down.
lawnmower again.
Yeah, that's the sound of
yeah,
my thinking. That's what that is.
he took a break.
His grinds,
back
his
again now.
gears are grinding.
It's very. I mean, you should see someone about that. It sounds bad.
All right, I'm good. I got that one down too. I am very proud of myself so far, despite the fact that I have no idea if any of these are right.
I think
That
that
is
was
the
the
best
8th
kind of quiz.
episode. That's the thing.
Oh no! This is. Have I put Shantae's somewhere in the wrong one? Oh well. I'll stop using numbers from now on. No, it's a lie. I'm going to use loads of numbers.
You have to. All right, this is halftime. Do we want to bring like Maroon 5 out? Or
Just do a little bit of quick. I mean, I'd like
3LW.
at a time as well.
I'm trying to think
Oh,
of
wow,
like
3LW.
number bands. Finger 11.
Nice. You're doing very well so far. We're not going to help either. You have to.
No, I have to keep going.
It's part of the quiz now.
I don't know. Oh,
I mean,
D12. Yeah.
Nice. My band.
can you have Boys to Men?
Oh yeah, but I
Oh,
don't know
there
if
you
Boys
go.
to Men, it does count. It's a numeral 2.
They do use the 2.
I thought you weren't gonna help though.
Hey,
Sorry, that was
hey.
just my-
Could we get S Club 7? Yeah,
Yes,
see?
you definitely can. not
Gonna
S Club
show
Junior.
you how. Ain't no party like S Club party.
Absolutely. And on to question 5. So, within the history of 100 episodes, you've had one episode that was called Siegen Loves Blank, and one called Devon Hates Blank. What did Siegen love, and what did Devon hate? I mean, that's a long list of things, I'm sure, but specifically. with the
Yeah,
episodes.
now I'm very intrigued.
You're curious about what you specifically hated that week, or loved.
I
And
can
if I still
say
do, that's
I
the
can
thing.
say no, I can say with all certainty that Siegen still loves what he loved, and I still hate what I hated.
That's fine then.
This is a good question. I love this question.
This question's got me more confused about the B part. I'm pretty sure I remember the U part.
But there's so many things to choose from.
Just the list of hatred and love is wild.
Oh, this is good. This is what I needed today. My beer is super skunky, but this quiz is fine.
Oh yeah, my coffee is.
That sounds like a country song.
My beer is super skunky. I'd listen to that song.
Is it
Dory Boy
parentheses, but my quiz is fine?
Yeah.
But my quiz is fine. My wife left, the dog died, my beer's super skunky, but the quiz is fine.
But I got my podcast.
It's the working title.
I would listen to the country song, but I got my podcast. All day.
I mean,
All day.
You can
Blake
tell they
Shelton,
watched
write it.
was it 2017 Sexiest Man or whatever?
Was he? He's not
Yeah.
sexy at all to me.
He
He
won-
kind of looks like one of
he
the
won.
blockheads from Gumby.
But
He's got a
That's
very
where we're at.
square head.
he has got a very square head. You are correct.
Wait, were you talking about Blake Shelton?
We're talking about
Yes.
Shelton Blake,
Shelton Blake? No,
not
Blake
to be
Shelton.
confused with Travis Randy.
He's got a really good vodka. I will give him that.
Better than Dan
there
Aykroyd's
we go.
vodka?
Yes, actually, legitimately, yes. Crystal
better
Skull
than-
vodka is trash.
Is it better than Ryan Reynolds' gin?
I have never tried Ryan Reynolds gin, but I would be the first to line up for it.
Aviation. It's a good gin.
All right.
I will be
But I've never
abstaining
tried
from the
Blake
gin.
Shelton's vodka, so you know
Devin's not allowed to have gin.
things happen when Devin has gin.
I'm ready for question
Hey.
6. What are we doing?
Question 6. That's a good question, and I like this one. Question 6 is: what is Sejin's Gambit?
Oh,
I mean, you devoted a whole episode to it. You should.
so like, what is the new one, or what was the original one that started the whole thing, or like, is
Oh,
it
like
a
just what
material?
is the concept
Yeah.
of?
Okay. All right.
Just like okay, Sejin, if I asked you what is the 6-hour rule, I'm not asking for what started the 6-hour rule. I'm asking
No,
you what it is.
Considering we've really only had 2 instances of which to talk about Sejin's Gambit, I think it was a fair question.
Yeah,
All right, that's
you know,
I'll
you
give you
came
that.
to a conclusion over what it was as a theory, we'll call it, and there it was.
It's more of a strategy than a theory. A
True,
theory would
you
mean
can
it's
call it that.
untested.
I mean, we don't know if it's worked. We have no data to prove it's worked or not. But
But it's definitely happened.
yes, you are correct. It's happened. But the Big Bang Theory happened, so you know.
Yeah, that happens every Thursday at 8. Come on,
Yeah,
CBS,
for
give
far
us that
too-
money.
For
Time
hard
is
too
a
many
flat
seasons.
circle.
Oh, nice.
Exactly. Oh no. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
I like your reference better.
Sam Beckett never made it home.
Wow.
All right, I got
Right,
this. It took a minute, but I got it.
7. This is a back and forth question, so it's last man standing.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Sorry, 2019, last person standing. So 11.
I think we both openly identify as males, but that's cool.
That's fine. Oh, thank you.
I appreciate
concerned.
the thought, though.
Oh, you know, you don't want to upset. So there's bound to be someone who gets upset.
There's that, but also, like, I appreciate that he didn't assume our gender. You know, after 10 years of friendship, he could have done that,
Yeah,
but
I
he
know.
didn't.
It's a very intimate moment. He could have very well done that.
Yeah, I mean, biologically speaking, I think we've all done that. You know, how you guys identify is up to you.
Is that the question?
How do you identify? No. The question is 11 celebrities have been named in titles of the episode.
Oh, Jesus.
We're going to go back and forth, last person standing, to work out when you can't name a celebrity, the other person gets the point.
Oh,
Or if you
well,
name the incorrect celebrity.
okay. I don't want to go first, but I also don't want to go second.
All right, well, I'll go first.
So if you got.
Oh, no, you know what sucks about this? Is that, like, 2 of these give answers to other questions, possibly. Oh, okay, I'm good. I'll go first.
Okay.
And maybe I'll lose right off the beginning. With Richard Altman.
Correct.
Kesha.
Yes.
Then I have to go to Brendan Fraser.
Definitely correct.
Easy one. Shit, I don't know. Did we say Channing Tatum's name in the title? I'm going to say Channing Tatum.
You do not mention Channing Tatum in the title. I am sorry.
Dan Aykroyd?
Dan Aykroyd is correct.
Dan Aykroyd is
Yes.
definitely my kind of Aykroyd.
It is indeed.
Does that count as an answer for Sejin, or is he already out?
I'll give him that because I was incorrect with the Channing Tatum one in the first
Oh,
place.
okay,
He
okay.
can be
So I'll go with.
We can all be incorrect with Channing Tatum.
All right.
Just once.
I'll go with Edgar Wright.
Yes.
I got nothing. I'm done now. I'm out.
Yeah. Point to Devon. The names you couldn't remember.
Oh my god.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh yeah.
Jack Kirby.
Oh yeah.
Randy Quaid.
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee and William Goldman. That episode. And James Woods.
Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, James Woods.
The only one that I'm sad that I didn't remember was Randy Quaid. The rest of them I'm not surprised I didn't remember nor care to remember, but
That Randy Quaid
But
episode is a good episode. I talk about Hard Rain. Because, like, I went on a real Hard Rain kick last year. Two years
it's
ago.
a fantastic movie.
It's so good. Watch Hard
Yeah.
Rain. There's your
Everybody does.
recommendation.
If you take one thing away from this quiz, it's watch Hard Rain.
The absurdity of that statement is so beautiful.
I mean, it wasn't how I planned the quiz to go, but I'm glad we got there.
All right.
The final question of the quiz.
Okay.
And there are 10 points on offer here.
Oh, God.
So
Making
it's
all
either-
other questions irrelevant.
Basically, this is the one to win on. Seaton, this could be your comeback special. I'm worried it won't be, but this could be your comeback occasion.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. I've got faith in you. Some faith. What is the wording of my sign-off at the end of every episode? Closest to
Oh,
the correct
Jesus.
answer gets 10 points.
Gee, well, I
You're on
need
the
to.
clock. I will give you 1 minute of, complete silence, which is perfect podcasting.
You should fill that minute with talking.
I mean, I don't want to distract you guys.
Got my answer down.
Oh, wow. That was super fast.
So you guys can talk.
Right.
Yeah, while David listens secretly in the background to an episode real quick.
No,
Hold
no,
on,
I'm
let's-
writing it out, though.
Oh, I had a fact for you, Sejin, that I shared with Devon based on an episode, something you mentioned in an episode recently.
Okay.
Utah is actually the fairest place in the world to be served a drink in terms of alcohol.
Yeah.
Because they legally have to measure every bit of alcohol that goes in the drink.
Yeah, up to 2 ounces.
Yeah, well, yeah, only up to 2 ounces. But in terms of are you getting the right amount in your drink, whereas you go to a bartender in New York, they can pour what they like and they
That's
tend to
fair.
count.
That's true. I guess in the sense of the word fair, you're right. It is the fairest place to get a drink. It's
fair.
also
It
the
might be
lamest
the-
place.
Yeah, it may have an issue with how much alcohol you're allowed, but
I cannot believe how many
Fair.
places out here have a Long Island iced tea on the menu. Like, how dare you call it a Long Island iced tea?
yeah, how much are they not using of everything?
What
I
are they going
don't-
to call
yeah,
it?
like-
A Salt Lake iced tea?
I mean, yeah, that would be a more accurate description.
It's real salty. No one likes it. I'm going to make one at work today. I'm going to go to work in about 3 hours' time. I'm going to make a Salt Lake iced tea.
Well, the rules are there can't be more than 2 ounces of alcohol in the entire drink, and of one alcohol there cannot be more than 1.5 ounces.
I mean, those are good rules.
That's,
So,
that's
like, from there,
I could drink those all night. That's just Coke and
Yeah,
sour
that would be
mix.
it. Pretty much, and with like a tiny splash of vodka.
All right,
And
so
salt.
I'm
Where's the
all
salt?
set. I'm
All
ready.
right.
I'm ready for a tabulation.
let's
All
do
right,
this.
let's start at the beginning, as we should. with
That's
some
where
answers.
the beginning goes.
A very good
Which
place
we
to
are,
start.
Yeah. So, okay, today, question one, today, how many special episodes have there been? What do we have written down?
I have 12 written down. Did I do that math right?
It's 10, and showing
It is
my math,
indeed
it's
10.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Because
Yes, the alphabet
the
was used
alphabet
in
is
that.
how I counted. I said the alphabet and used my fingers.
See, I said I thought it was 2 years, and we do one every 2 months. So that's how I did
but we
it.
didn't end up doing one in February. We started in April.
Oh.
And it would have been
okay.
2 years, but again, the December one doesn't count. Nothing, Noise, and Nonsense wouldn't have counted because that came out after our 100th episode.
Damn. All right.
So, I mean, like, you did good math.
Devon's, You can count to 12, and that is how many, like,
That's how many there
24
should
divided
be.
by 2, you had it. So.
Yeah. I'll give him. You should give him half credit for demonstrating better math skills than you or I today, Will.
When have my maths been terrible? Apart from all the time.
Didn't we had a conversation about both of our maths were terrible this morning?
Well, that was time zone math. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah, time zone math shouldn't count. That should be a class in high
real
school.
hard.
It's super difficult, especially when I've been up for 10 minutes.
Asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to fall asleep. You'd just woken up. It was never going to go well.
No, not at all.
Anyway, episode 1, or maybe 2, which is entitled Spoilers, contains spoilers for one Channing Tatum franchise. Which 2 things have you guys got written down?
I wrote down Magic Mike
I also wrote down Magic Mike.
and G.I. Joe.
I wrote Step Up.
Well, you can both have a point for Magic Mike, because I didn't write that down, and I was incorrect by writing Fast and Furious.
No, he's not in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, no, he auditioned for Fast and Furious, and apparently it's one of the worst auditions that ever happened. But that's where I think my brain was ticking over. But also, you do talk about Fast and Furious in that episode. And the actual one.
And what's the other one? You got all wuggly.
You went all Cyberman on us.
And
Exterminate.
We were losing him.
Devin gets 2.
Devin gets 2. All right. Step Up was clearly. Oh, man. All right. We have definitely talked about G.I. Joe a lot.
Oh, yeah, I do, because I talk about Step Up and Fast and the Furious and how they're like
good.
the same movie, franchise-wise.
Hey, we can talk about that later in the movies.
Yes. Next.
Yes. Question 3. And you definitely should have this one right. May is what?
Brendan Fraser.
Fraser History Month. That was super cool because you said Brendan Fraser and I said History Month. We finished each other's sandwiches.
That's some real cute meat we got there.
It's like you planned that.
We didn't, though.
I hope you did plan it. No, I think you did. You've been doing this. You knew this was happening.
Yeah, we've been practicing for May of this year. That's how it's going to happen every episode.
Oh, don't make those promises.
Hopefully this comes out after May, then.
You make all these promises all the time on Say Report that don't happen, so it's good that you continue that dream.
That's really the goal of Say Report, isn't it? Unfulfilled promises.
That should have been a question. I apologize, it wasn't. Bonus points for that. All right. So, question 4. You referenced a True Rhode Island challenge, one that I'm proud to have completed. What was the challenge?
Is it the Awful Challenge?
Yeah, the Awful Challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's our ninth released episode. I've never done that one, but I've eaten a holy cow.
See, I never had a holy cow, but yeah, awful was the first thing I did in Newport.
Man, now I want an awful. Man.
I mean, is there not like a salty awful?
It's not a salty awful. Not at all.
Do they even have ice milk out there? Because that's what makes it an awful, is that it's ice milk, not ice cream.
Yeah, probably not, actually.
I mean, scoop up like coffee milk. No one has that anyway.
Don't the French have that? Isn't that a cafe au lait?
Ireland. Well, no, that's just a latte. Coffee milk is a right.
Yes, coffee flavored milk is super Rhode Island.
There's just something about it, like Dell's lemonade. It's just the Rhode Island.
I don't know what's happening anymore.
Neither do we. We're just talking and filling time until Will doesn't sound like a robot
it's a time
anymore.
Capsule. We're being nostalgic.
Yeah, he's right.
Do I sound like a robot again?
No, you're good now.
Oh, no. Because you sound like a robot as well, so it's all part of the fun.
Yeah, so it's all evening out. It's your internet connection.
We have the episode that Siegen. Is it me? I apologize. Let me see who I'm connected with. I could move. Maybe closer to my box. See what happens.
You mean a computer? Your box?
He's in Australia now. We've lost him to all understandable expressions for things.
I've forgotten how to use the English language. But I'm closer to the box now. Everything's fine.
Yes, actually, weirdly enough.
It actually worked. So you heard first, people. If it's not working out, get closer to your box.
I've got 2 different modems, so they are referred to as the box. I'm here now. It's fine.
That's fair.
Hey, Devin.
Yeah.
What do you hate?
Oh, I hate Dream
so
Girls.
Hate and love.
Dream Girls. I wrote down Last Jedi. I couldn't remember which one it was. I knew that it was.
I would never declare I hated Last Jedi in the title of the episode. Then no one's gonna listen.
Yeah, but it's Siege loves Edgar Wright.
Yes, you do.
Siege does love Edgar Wright.
I originally wrote down Ice Cream, which was actually kind of close to Edgar Wright, but.
Yeah, I mean, I would have given you half points for that.
But then I remembered what it actually was.
It's actually Edgar Wright. I mean, I'm glad you love Ice Cream as well, though. That's fine.
Okay.
All right.
What is Siegen's Gambit?
I don't know the best way to word it, so I wrote down that Patrick Dempsey deserves no happiness.
Jesus! I wrote down showing the last scene of a movie in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went with using the final shot of a movie to market your film. Was my way of doing it. So yeah, I don't know if Patrick Dempsey deserving no happiness is correct. I mean, it is correct.
The subtitle of which was the ending of movies.
Okay. I mean, you are correct because you asked, "Do I need an example?" That was a good example.
That's a perfect example.
And
Poor Patrick Dempsey.
It's a shame.
He's maid of honor, and yet
not. Yet also evil in Transformers.
Doc of the Moon.
Is he an evil Transformer in that movie?
No, he's just an evil human.
Well, I know that he appears human, but is he an evil Transformer in that movie?
No, that's why Dark of the Moon is awesome.
Yes.
Because it's cool that there are humans who are working against humanity. Like, that's the coolest thing that Michael Bay added to his universe.
And explosions.
Well, yeah.
There is, I'm going to admit this right now, Will. There is no way in hell that I could tell you the exact wording of what you say at the end of each episode, so I just simply wrote down, word to your mother.
That is not even what I say, but it's nice.
He does say mother, so like
I do use the word mother.
I'd have to really beef it up for this to not happen.
You'd have to get 0 words correct.
All right. So as a heads up to everybody, the show is not over, despite me saying, thank you for listening to the Say Report with your hosts, Devin Decker and Siegen Sarwick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast channel so you can have it delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.
With apologies to your mother, not word to your mother.
Yeah.
I got 3 words right. I got 3 words right.
You got 3 words right. Devin, you were very close. You missed out. Follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook.
And Facebook!
Searching for the Say Report.
Damn!
But apart from that, you were pretty close. I mean, you get more points and you got more words correct than Siegen did. So.
Yeah, but only because he said more.
You didn't even get like the official sign off is with apologies to your mother. I would have abstained from answering the question if you could have just said with apologies to your mother.
Oh man!
I mean, if we want to record a new one, word to your mother can be included.
That's behind the scene talk.
Can we also include your new co-host, Lawnmower Man?
Lawnmower Man, he's back.
His name is Job. Okay, it's Job's War.
Oh god!
And he will not stop mowing that lawn.
God, that's
the issue, because
that's James Bond in that movie, isn't it?
What? Pierce Brosnan?
In Lawnmower Man.
He's in it, but he's not the Lawnmower Man.
No. He's the doctor, the like weird.
Yes, he's the one who creates the Lawnmower Man. Well, no, that's not true. Technically, Job is a Lawnmower Man because he mows lawns.
Yes.
Like, that title is real confusing.
Well, yeah, because like you imagine...
when you actually read the Stephen King short story Lawnmower Man, it's just about a weird dude that shows up asking if he can mow your lawn, and then you find him naked outside eating a mole out of your goat yard. It has nothing to do with whatever that movie's about.
That happens every time. No matter what, he goes to your house, he's like, "Can I mow your lawn?" And then you're like, oh, "I wonder if he's done yet. Why are you naked eating a mole?" I brought the mole from home.
Where did you get it from?
Stop eating my moles. That's the true horror of the Lawnmower Man.
Is it an actual mole or like?
Body?
Yeah. Does he, because he's out there naked mowing the grass? Does he like pick a mole off of himself and eat it?
No. I think it's one in the ground. It's an actual mole.
Okay, because nudity and skin cancer / moles go together.
Yeah, I know. You're out there naked. You got to watch out in that sun, man.
I mean, especially here, we don't have an ozone layer in Australia, so it's pretty bad.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened to nudist colonies, right? They just couldn't deal with the thing, sarcoma. Is that what it's called?
Melanoma.
And
Melanoma.
they became leprechauns.
Bum. Yeah. All right, so that was a quiz.
So we have some scores.
Oh God, we have scores. He tabulated scores.
I've tabulated. I've got numbers. I did actual correct math. Interesting showing from Segan. Out of a possible, I don't even know, like many points, you have scored 5.5. You got a point. You got the 0.5 for your correct math use, but not correct answer.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. At Devon, we have a winner with 19 points.
I didn't even think
So
19
close.
points
It
was
was pretty
available.
Yeah, I seem to have given you 2 for some answers when I was feeling friendly.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Yeah. Well, you both got 2 for Channing Tatum being not what I thought it was. And then you got 2 for Edgar Wright and Dreamgirls. So
That's true. Yeah, that makes sense.
basically, yeah,
So basically,
Hey,
and
anyway.
I won the show off.
you did win the knowing what I say at the end of the
Which
episode.
I gotta tell you, Richard Altman. That I don't know if that's a real person.
Hey, if he isn't, he still gets a name check. So.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I specifically like mistitled Robert Altman for the title of that episode
Yep.
as like a
But he's
reference
there.
to Robert Altman.
But there you go. You were correct in your
All right.
miscorrectness. That's not the word.
So now let's talk about the topic of this time capsule episode, which I mean at this point you could think it's friendship, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sejan and I, we've known each other for 14 years. Not can't be 14 years. Is it 14 years? It
Yeah,
might be
close to
14 years, right? But
Yeah.
we've known Will for 10. Like this is our
Mhm.
our 10
Yeah.
anniversary with Will.
It was September of 2008. I landed in Rhode Island.
But I didn't meet you
man.
until February of 09. Sejan had
True.
these beautiful, like, 4 months without me being part of this friendship group.
As we
Yeah, and I
pretended to
didn't
do
take
theater.
advantage of them. If I'd only known then, I would have taken full advantage of this being a Sans Devon relationship.
Dude, can we just talk about while the subject is friendship? You're like, there's this dude, Will. You gotta meet him. You were so happy
And
to
here we are.
introduce us. And I thank you
That's 'cause
every
I-
day for that.
I mean, I accidentally went to one of Christian's classes and then left it real quick. And I think that's where it all began.
Oh man, I used to walk into that classroom all the time and then be like, "Oh, this isn't my class yet."
Nope. I thought, oh, lighting history. That'll be no, shouldn't be here.
No. Oh man, guys.
Fine, I went and did a different class instead.
David
So,
Howard usually had
talk
something
to me-
going on.
So talk to me, Devin. What are we doing? What is this topic that you shoot through at me?
This topic that Will threw at me and then I subsequently threw to you is there's this weird thing in Hollywood. And if you've listened to the episode we recorded yesterday, and you probably have, it happened, I hope, months ago. People tend to compare movies to one another it just makes sense, right? You want to like try to find common ground with anything in order to survive in the world. But then there's times where the ground is a little bit too common, and you'd believe that it's just two people got there at the same time and named it different things.
Yeah, or they were having the idea in the same moment, and then they kind of went off in their own directions.
Yeah, and there becomes, I think, not a shootout between them because they kind of, it's a symbiotic relationship, but they both exist and they both seem to do okay. Although there is a few on the list that I found that I've never heard of, and they did not do as well as their twin movie, as I'm calling them.
No, but I think that you're right that sometimes this happens and they end up having these kinds of like weird like mini genres that sprout up, and specifically the one in my head that I'm thinking about is Paul Blart and Observe and Report, both coming out of just after Seth Rogen had done Funny People with Adam Sandler. So weird that then Sandler and his company start doing Paul Blart, and then the very next thing that Seth Rogen does is Observe and Report. And I think that there is very much a case to be made that Observe and Report, coming out after Paul Blart, was in this weird space where people checked it out just because it was so weird that this other mall cop movie was coming out in the same year from a funny person. So it's supposedly a comedy, although they found out pretty quickly it was not a funny movie.
Yes.
Dude, the weirdest thing about those is that they both feature a like prominent redhead of the moment. Because
as the
love interest. Jayma Mays in Paul Blart, and I believe it's Isla Fisher in Observe and Report, right?
Well, Anna Faris plays the woman that he's after, but that's not a love relationship. I'd have to go back and see if there is who the female actual love interest is, because Anna Faris is the one he's pursuing, but it is not. It's I'm trying to think of the Shakespearean way of putting it, but in the end, it's not going to happen.
Does it need to be Shakespearean if it's just not going to happen?
No. I was trying to think if there was a nice way of talking about this movie, because the thing is I really like Observe and Report, but I also recognize why it tanked the way that it did, and the reason why you don't see, because it's basically Seth Rogen does Taxi Driver, which is phenomenal, which means that it's also nothing like Paul Blart. But it's one of those things that like it's too hard. It's too easy to step back and just see like everything about those two movies that we were just like, okay, like clearly like Seth Rogen and Adam Sandler were sitting at the table while they were working
and they
on
had
Funny
that
People
discussion.
And having a conversation, right? And then Seth Rogen's like, well, this is the way I think the movie should go. And Adam Sandler's like, no, this is the way it should go. And that's where they parted ways and made their own versions of those movies, right? I don't think there's any more clear-cut case of that. Like, as much as there's other instances that we're going to talk about today of these kinds of movies existing, it's the only one that I can think of that has, like, an impetus point that I can point to, that I can say, like, clearly this is where this started.
I wonder if on some level it was their own contest to see who could make a better mall cop movie.
That's what they said. They goes, you know what isn't done enough? Mall cop movies. And they went, well, here we go.
Yeah, right.
Challenge accepted. No, I think this came from a discussion I was having at work with a couple of guys last week, and I said, I watched Armageddon last night. And one guy was like, is that the Morgan Freeman one? I said, no, that's Deep Impact, but I see why you'd be totally confused. So they came out in the same year, and they're basically the same story.
Yeah.
And you have this kind of thing, like, I think one person said, maybe it's because one studio is smaller than the other one, and they kind of ride the coattails of that one because, people are into this kind of movie at the moment, so let's do more of that kind of movie. But most of them I was looking through, and I was like, a lot of them aren't that kind of smaller studio. They are kind of big studio battles against each other, with big names in the cast. There's one or two where I was like, no one's ever heard of that film.
Yeah, it's not like Transmorphers and Transformers.
Right.
Yes.
No, I think the other reason why, like the other reason why that doesn't quite work for me is the timing on them, right? Because they do come out in the same year. So we're not talking about, hey, Armageddon came out and it was a huge success, so everybody makes the next Armageddon. Because that happens. Yeah. That happens all the time. But you can't say Deep Impact was riding its coattails because they didn't know whether or not the coattails were worth riding yet, you know?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're both 98, and they came out within, months of each other. Same as one that I had never heard of, but I'm upset and will now be seeking it out. In 1995, we had Babe, A Little Pig That Goes a Long Way.
Yeah.
Do either of you know the other movie that came out in 1995?
Yeah, it's Gordy, right?
Gordy.
The talking pig who made it big.
Which is weird. Gordy is a weird movie.
Well, what's even weirder is Gordy is all about a pig in a city. So then Babe 2 is
Which
like,
Babe
well,
2,
we're going to
yeah.
do that.
Like, I haven't seen Gordy, and I'm upset, and I will now be seeking it out to look for. But
Oh, then I can't
yeah, there
tell
were
my
these.
joke about the time I saw Gordy.
I mean, you can tell it. I just sit here quietly.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to ruin Gordy
I-
for Will. It's
so,
okay.
But yeah,
okay.
spoilers for Gordy.
So spoilers for Gordy, right? Specifically to Will, plug your ears. Gordy has like piglets in Gordy, and at the end they're about to go into, fittingly enough, a sausage making machine.
Excellent.
And I was like, oh my god, it would be hilarious if like one of the piglets went halfway in and then half of his body was a sausage.
Oh, God.
Like 10,
I mean, yeah.
like 9 years
Hilarious.
old, and I'm like,
Terrifying as well.
but that's like the level of humor that Gordy is, where I'm
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a half sausage piglet at the end of this.
So you're saying, so Gordy is a
Um,
more slapstick Babe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
a way of putting it.
100%.
That's one way to say it.
The other big one that I always forget about, because I didn't really care too much about either of these movies, was Dante's Inferno and Volcano were pretty close to each other, too, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
both
strange.
97.
95.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
And then,
97.
yeah,
I'm an
you've got-
idiot.
Sorry, I'm looking at a page here that says 97, so yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I said I apologize.
But again, you've got two big names. You've got Tommy Lee Jones, you've got Pierce Brosnan. It's not like they had, one trying to be... They clearly sat there and gone, let's write a movie about volcanoes and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And then someone else went completely unconnectedly, possibly. But you've got to assume at some point people in Hollywood talk to each other.
Well, right.
And they
right.
go, hey, we're making a volcano movie. And they went, oh, cool, so are we. Okay, bye.
Well, yeah.
So,
older now,
that
right?
could
We've
actually...
been-
Oh, continue, CJ.
Well, I was just going to say that the three of us have just kind of, gotten a little bit more savvy about the industry and stuff like that as we've grown up. And like, it's impossible for those conversations to not exist, right? Like, I mean, even just like Vanity Fair press releases being like, hey, these guys bought the rights to make this movie, so you expect to see that in the next 5 years. And like, it's not impossible to believe that some other studio then goes, well, if they're going to be making a volcano movie, we got to get our own volcano movie in the works, because if that's going to be a thing, like, let's do this, right? So that goes back to kind of the symbiotic relationship that you were talking about, Will. The idea that, like, they're not making these movies to trounce each other. They're making these movies because they know, man, when they see this volcano movie, they just might want another volcano movie, and we should be there a few months later with one to give them, right?
I think it also builds kind of competition between the two of someone going, oh, we saw one, let's see the other one to see which one.
Yeah, exactly. Healthy competition.
And everyone does well at the box office because everyone sees both because, we should, to compare them.
And the other thing is, I would 100% believe if one of those conversations happens, and he's like, oh yeah, we're doing Dante's Peak. Like, he's on the phone, and he's like, that volcano script that we have? We got to push that to the forefront. Because
Right,
we don't want to
right,
look
right.
like we're coming out to follow them.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a lot
the
involved.
race to screen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's just,
not
it
like,
gets,
obviously, the ones we picked up so far have all been like late 90s. You go, oh, maybe it was a while ago. They weren't really paying attention. But then you go now, it's like 2006, you had Prestige and Illusionist, which are based in same. I was like, oh, it's not. Because I initially was like, oh, maybe it's just because they were a while ago. Maybe people weren't talking as much. It wasn't as easy to communicate. Go back even 20 years now.
right.
I was like, no, this isn't a thing. People should have known these things. The internet existed in 2006.
Yeah.
We should have been able to read the releases.
Well, and here we are talking about 2018. This is what's kind of sparked this conversation for Devin and I is Black Panther and Aquaman in the same year. That, like, it's kind of hard to ignore the plot lines of those two movies and those two characters, and like the whole concept of the monarchy in trouble and the idea of fighting for the throne and having the villain that has a very kind of rightful claim to it and that sort of thing. Yeah, like,
well, again, and the thing I mentioned even about after seeing Aquaman, the idea that it's not an alien society coming in and trying to destroy the world; it's a society that's been there the whole time that we didn't know about.
Yeah,
You both got,
that
one's underwater, one's hidden, but they're both, they're both there, and no one knew they existed, but actually they're the superpower.
Yeah. I think that, like, these things pop up a lot, and I think what's interesting is when people start to think that they're like malicious like recreations. Like audience members are just like get really offensive, and like there are people out there that are so adamantly Armageddon fans that they hate Deep Impact fans, and vice versa.
Oh, yeah.
You know. I think it happens more usually with the losers in these fights, right? Like it's the ones that don't do as well. Like it'll be the one that doesn't do as well. We'll have the one that'll have the more adamant fan base that's just like, this is clearly the superior version of this film, right? And it's just like well, no, guys. I mean, all movies can can exist together. Like there's no reason why one has to be the only volcano movie that exists in the world.
So
yeah,
you're saying that fans of Iron Eagle wouldn't like fans of Top Gun?
Are there fans of Iron Eagle? Is what I'm going to
don't
ask.
know. Well, yeah, I would just say, but this is a film again, one I'd not heard of. I know that they both came out in '86.
I'd be hard pressed to
time.
find a Top Gun fan that even cares about the existence of Iron Eagle. But I guarantee you that if there is somebody out there that claims to be an Iron Eagle fan, say Top Gun to them, and they will hiss. Like, yes,
like we don't even we don't allow it in the house.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is not a Top Gun house, all right?
But you know what? That being
Iron Eagle
said,
posters everywhere.
we cannot discount the fact that if it weren't for Iron Eagle, we probably would have gotten a really shitty sequel to Top Gun. I think that Top Gun was like, we want to make a sequel.
Still in the making now?
Oh yeah, now it is, but like time has passed, and I think that like it could be good. But they saw that Iron Eagle was going to get Iron Eagle 2, and they're like, let's wait, let's see what happens. We've seen how a lot of these 80s movie sequels go, so like we'll wait it out. And like that was the right move on Top Gun's part, because there are 4 Iron Eagles, and none of them are worth watching.
Yeah.
No,
it's very much a
get
in, get out, right? Like they know, okay, this flash in the pan is done, so let's not do this again. And the better studio wins in that case. If you want to make a competition out of any of it, it's who wasn't stupid enough to kill their franchise.
Well, yeah, it's that idea of, we did one, that was cool. Oh, they did one, let's see what they do next. Oh, they ruined it. We're fine.
Yep, we're untouchable though.
Kenny Loggins, that's the reason.
Because of one track. Well, and Playing
with the Boys is the one track, all right? Danger Zone is fine, but Playing with the Boys.
It's all about Playing with the Boys. And then in terms of Olympus Has Fallen, White House Down, 2 movies again that are the same story. They went with London Has Fallen because, I guess Gerard Butler was free that week.
Gerard Butler just likes to work, man.
Yeah, just a busy guy. But they didn't build another Channing Tatum franchise like Fast and Furious for him to do another one. And I'm upset. I was hoping they would do more with Jamie Foxx. But
well, yeah, right. Because Barack Obama, the action star, was a phenomenal like turn for that movie.
Good. That movie was so good.
Yeah.
What I loved about that film is you have the head of the fighter unit coming in his plane, ready to blow up the White House. He's been told by his commanding officer, blow up the White House. This is it. You follow orders. You go and do it. But then one little girl with a flag suddenly changes all of his training, and he suddenly decides to disobey orders because this girl's got a flag.
Yeah.
I was like, that's where I kind of went, maybe, no, he would have just gone, bombs, done, sorry.
On the topic of not Olympus Has Fallen, White House Down, James Woods.
James Woods as well. There we go.
See, I'm a bigger fan of the third in that triplet that didn't come out in that same year, but I definitely see that it is the triplet is Triple X2 with Ice-T.
Triple X2 came out years and years before. State of the Union is so good.
It's not even Triple X. It basically is like it's a whole other thing because
it's the best Triple X movie. Come fight me. Oh, I love State of the Union. Yeah. That's closer to a Marvel film because Samuel L. Jackson is there.
Yeah,
because Samuel L. Jackson's there.
Oh man, he's basically playing Nick Fury in that movie, in all 3 of those movies.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's so fine. What is your? We've talked about Black Panther, Aquaman, and their similarities in 2018. But what is your actual factual? This is the same exact plot. What is your closest one going back? Did you guys find one of those?
My one, I'd say for this, and apart from that, I would say Friends with Benefits and No Strings Attached.
Stole mine. Yeah.
Basically the same film, just with slightly different cast members.
Well, and one gets to be R-rated and one's PG-13. Like, I think the only thing stopping No Strings Attached from basically being the exact same movie as Friends with Benefits is that Friends with Benefits gets the R rating, so they get to go further with a lot of the humor.
Do we know which one came out first between the two?
I actually believe No Strings Attached came out first.
Oh, okay.
They're both 2011.
Right, but I'm talking exact date.
I'm trying to. I don't know if that's just the way I saw them or if that's the way they came out, but I think that's the way they came out.
So No Strings Attached was 25th of February.
Okay.
2011, and then Friends with
Benefits was a late summer, wasn't it?
I have to spell friends correctly, it might help.
Beans with Benefits.
Beans with Benefits sounds like a phenomenal movie.
Yeah,
we should write it.
9th of September. So yeah.
And which one was the R-rated one?
Friends with Benefits.
Yeah. So also that makes sense too, because February they're trying to get couples in there. They're trying to get, like, that's a dead time in movies. You'd want a PG-13 movie at that time.
It's the Valentine movie, for sure, yeah.
But what's interesting is the tagline for No Strings Attached is "Friendship has its benefits."
That is interesting.
And then they just went, let's just use that as our title.
It's like they're marketing for us.
Because as we know, they slapped that movie together in like 3 months, and they just threw that out, right?
Oh, yeah. And now what I like even more about it is that obviously Mila Kunis is in one and Ashton Kutcher's in the other.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, friendship does have its benefits.
Oh, man.
All right.
It all came together in a glorious ending.
What was
yours?
It
was a happy ending. Mine was The Legend of Hercules and Hercules starring Dwayne Johnson. Both came out in 2015 or 2014. One of those two. And it is like Legend of Hercules is January, Hercules is August. And it's like
excellent.
2 Dead Zones, 2 Hercules movies. The only thing that's like different about them is that one is like the trials and one is the end of his life. So it actually makes for a really cool double feature, but like we didn't need 2 Hercules movies in the same year.
Especially the stylized version that they did, right? Like the idea of almost 300-esque. Although I will say in the Dwayne Johnson one, they very much play that up to be the fantasy, but they still show it to you.
Yeah, right? It still exists. Those are the Sejan's Gambit, really.
Yeah.
And also that same year. Oh, Will?
No, you go for it. Same year.
That same year, you finally got sequels to Frank Miller movies in Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, and 300, whatever that second one was called. The Lost Empire.
The Big Fat Mess. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 300 that no one saw.
And both of them had Eva Green in it, playing the exact same role. Like, those are weird. Those are 2 weird ones that don't necessarily fit the criteria of what we're talking about, but like I thought should be introduced into the conversation. Because she is literally like the green-eyed sexual goddess of both of those Frank Miller sequels.
Yeah, the like green-eyed femme fatale of those. I mean, to be fair, that is the type that she played for a while there.
I mean, Casino Royale is a quite example.
Right. And it's the same thing. It's the same role that she played in Dark Shadows and even in Penny Dreadful. It's the character that she plays there. She's just good at that. But yeah, like we can break this down even further. It's not just movies that kind of seem to bubble up like this. It is definitely like characters and archetypes, right? Like, and that's when it starts to get really kind of conspiracy theory heady for me, where people are just like, we need our own version of this character, so let's do this. The most obvious thing with that is like everything that happened after the Twilight movies came out, and you've got like I mean, to be fair, that is what then led to things like giving us like the Hunger Games. I love the idea that they went into these like YA teen fantasy novels to find a bunch of stuff, because they did find some gold in there. Beautiful Creatures is a great example of one that I very much enjoy, and I'm very sad they're never going to make another one of those. God, that movie is horribly good.
I mean, Maze Runner fits in that as well.
And with Divergent as well.
Yeah, and Divergent, which was Hunger Games too.
Right.
So Hooch and K9, directly into that.
Turner and
Yeah,
Hooch
it's
and
just-
K9 is weird. But again, there's another example of Turner and Hooch is just Turner and Hooch. And then K9, you have K911, and there's
Yeah.
another sequel, too. Like,
Well,
we
if you
did
wanna
not
talk about
need
weird-
3 of those.
If you want to talk about weird cop comedies, then you also have Cop and a Half and Kindergarten Cop pretty close to each other
Yep.
too, right? And like, yeah, yeah.
The list that I found, I disagreed with one of them because they had Cop Out and The Other Guys.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And I
That's
feel like
weird.
that's those like yeah, they're both cop movies, but like they're nowhere near the same type of cop movie.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
feel
yeah,
like they wouldn't have been sold as the same type either. Like I think that's the other key thing about all the other ones we've been talking about is that they're pitching themselves in the same way to the same audiences. Despite the fact that when you finally see the movies you can find differences, they are essentially selling themselves as the same movie. I don't feel that Cop Out and The Other Guys sold themselves as the same movie.
I unfortunately feel like Cop Out didn't sell itself at all because
Well,
of the
right.
like
No.
behind the scenes
And if
stuff.
it did, it was terrible. It was a bad idea.
Yeah, but yeah, The Other Guys was very clearly like, here's the next Will Ferrell spoofy comedy. So like, you weren't going to see The Other Guys to go see serious cops in a funny situation. You were going to see a goofy antics, right? Whereas like Cop Out was very much supposed to be like, no, this is like I was about to see Backstreet Boys. No, this is like Bad Boys, where like this is like serious shit. They just happen to be humorous, like in the way that they handle it. Yeah, very different situation.
Yeah, in the
there.
same way a 21 Jump Street kind of idea is that, you know, what's happening is a serious thing, but these guys are funny.
Yeah, right.
That's your Other Guys style. Whereas Cop Out was just, it didn't really need watching.
Period.
I suddenly
Oh,
don't feel
man.
bad about never seeing The Other Guys. Thanks, guys.
No, the Other Guys is good. The other one.
Oh, Cop Out. Oh, I'm sorry. I got them confused. You know what? Maybe they do
Easily
deserve
done.
on a list. Jeez.
Yeah, man.
Well, see, I found another list from Business Insider, so you know it's.
Oh, you know it's
legitimate.
legit.
Yeah, I mean, my brother-in-law is one of their editors, so it has to be right. I mean, he didn't. He's not involved in writing this article, but it was titled as 11 vastly different movies that actually have the same plot.
Okay.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, okay, this could be interesting. So, Oblivion and Wall-E.
I would go with
Okay.
Oblivion and After Earth, but yeah, you're not wrong.
Well, yeah. Yeah, basically one of the last drone repairmen on Earth finds a spacecraft which leads to a discovery that puts the fate of mankind in his hands.
Jesus.
That
That
was
is
kind of what they
amazing.
listed it as. I was like, yeah, that works. Terminator 2 and Looper.
oh,
A mum called Sarah, because they both have a mum called Sarah, protects her son from a guy sent back in time trying to kill her and his son.
in order to save the future or change the future
Yep.
at least.
Change the future.
Modified.
There were some of them were a little bit forced. Alien and Juno, which was where they had the plot basically as an unplanned pregnancy leads to a sticky situation. I mean, yeah.
Like
Apollo 13, Castaway, Terminal, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, and now Sully was basically said as Tom Hanks' flights don't go very well.
Not wrong.
Don't fly in the same plane as Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
That's what I
basically
learned.
don't go traveling with Tom Hanks ever. Aladdin and Les Mis.
Wow, that's
Stole a loaf
actually
of bread.
really good.
Yeah, stole a loaf of bread, went to jail, given riches by somebody, gained political office, took part in a rebellion, long-standing feud with one specific government official, ultimately influencing the enemy to defeat himself. I was like, there
Man,
you
that
go,
is
yeah.
scary close. That is good.
Yeah, they've got
I like that.
deep into Aladdin. I really enjoyed that one. Finding Nemo and Taken. Overprotective single father falls into dangerous situation in search of child.
Oh man.
That is closer than Finding Nemo and Shark's Tale. I will say that.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Batman Begins and American Psycho.
Can we throw the
In the end,
machinist
they
in
were
there
both
just
all
for
in
fun?
Christian Bale's
And
head.
The Machinist, sure, if we're doing Christian Bale films. They were listed as a wealthy man has an alter ego that only comes out at night.
Yeah, I'll go with the machinist too.
Yeah, they all work. The Devil's Advocate and Star Wars.
I'm gonna need that one explained.
Evil father attempts to get his son to help him rule the universe. Awkward sexual tension between brother and sister.
Fantastic.
That's very good.
Yeah. Inception and Shutter Island. DiCaprio is heartbroken over the death of his wife and goes on an imaginary mission to make things better while the audience is confused.
Damn.
This next one was one of my favorite ones, just purely for the two conflicting movies: Gran Torino and Up.
Okay.
Yeah, they do both
which was
befriend young boys.
Yeah, old bitter man in challenging times befriends his young Asian neighbor who helps him overcome his cynicism and dislike of the other people.
Oh my god. What were the years on those two? Do you have those in front of you, Will?
That was 2009, I believe.
Yeah, they're not too far apart, but
Yeah, I was going to say, 'cause
very
those
different
are
in style.
those are very relatively close in time too.
You then have Avatar, Pocahontas, Dances with Wolves, and Fern Gully. A man joins up with natives to learn their culture and exploit them, ends up falling in love with their way of life and one of their women, and leads them to victory over those who try and exploit them.
I'm going to go on record of those four. Dances with Wolves is my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Easily.
Fern Gully all the way. Are you kidding me?
Oh, because
Tim Curry
Robin
as the
Williams
smoke
is there?
monster? No, I even forgot that he played he plays the bat in that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's all Tim Curry as the smoke monster in that movie for me.
Oh, see, I just appreciate Kevin Costner not being able to say wolves at any time in that movie. And Dances with Wolves became a whole thing.
He can't speak in any of those movies in the early 90s, man. That's also when he does Robin Hood, right? And he's the only one in the whole movie without an accent. Except for Christian Slater, who then you realize is his brother at some point, so it makes sense that they're the only two that don't have.
Like, yeah, he just comes straight off the plane. He didn't even try and do an accent for that movie.
Unlike
The
other
Sheriff
Robin
of
Hoods, I
Nottingham.
can do a flawless English accent.
Oh, yes, I mean, we all know how good Russell Crowe was.
Ugh.
Where he drifted. I mean, even in one speech, he drifts from the north of England to Wales to Pakistan to Australia and then back to England.
I believe that was a directorial choice because
Okay.
Robin Hood is an everyman, so his voice speaks for every man who is involved in the. I honestly believe that. That is, I could write a paper right now about that speech and how yes he drifts through every accent, but there's a reason.
The multinational Robin Hood because he appeals to all.
He speaks
Got any left
for
on the
all.
list, Will?
Well, I mean, we'll see with the new Robin Hood that is about to come out with Taron Egerton.
Has it not come out for you yet?
I don't know. If it has, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, it was
may
in
well have
theaters
come
for
out.
like a week. Dude, can I tell you the
Oh,
best part, Will? Can I tell you the best part?
Please do.
Tim Minchin plays Friar Tuck.
Yeah, okay, that's the best part.
Right?
'Cause
I
was
knew if I
Jamie
talked
Foxx
to
as
someone who
Morgan
knew Tim
Freeman.
Minchin, they'd think that was the best part.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go and find this film now because you've got Jamie Foxx as Morgan Freeman, which is always,
And
sure.
he's not only Morgan Freeman, he's also Little John. He's
Yeah,
both.
I read that on the list and I was like, that's an interesting choice of casting. But
To combine those two, or
and both combine them and take the story of the Costner classic and make it into a new discovery. Yeah, So I'm gonna have to go and find that now because it should have come out. I guess it came out in December sometime here.
Yeah, it came out. It was a Thanksgiving movie here, and it was like. And the second I saw Tim Minchin, I'm like, "That's not Tim Minchin, is it?" And then it was, and I'm just like,
And then it really was.
"What beautiful casting!" Like,
Oh yeah, definitely gonna go and find this one.
yeah. Oh, and it's an enjoyable film too. Like on top of that,
Oh, that helps.
like it's not like, granted, it's not going to win any Golden Globes or Oscars, but like it's a fun time at the movies, buoyed by the fact that friggin' Tim Minchin plays a Catholic friar.
Brilliant. I mean, they went pretty heavy on using Australians. Well, there's at least two in the top list, so
Yeah,
pretty heavy. Ben Mendelsohn.
that's
Another
his
one
name,
to
Ben
add to the list.
Mendelsohn, the bad guy in everything.
Yeah, but he just always turns up as a generic. He could be evil. He looks quite evil.
So this guy looks like a dick.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there was a whole trope in the '80s of only European people play bad guys.
Along
So,
that same
it must
line,
have-
the gentleman who plays Salieri in Amadeus, also a villain in Robin Hood. So like they play their proper to that trope.
It works. I mean, you had Rutger Hauer basically for the 80s, who just played every bad guy you needed.
Except for Lady Hawk. I really like him in Lady Hawk.
And,
Lady Hawk is...
what's the other one's woman?
Lady Hawk is one of those movies that I go back to now, and it's hard for me to watch.
Why? What's hard about it?
It doesn't... the pacing is the biggest part, I think, and I think it might be that early 80s pacing that just does not work for me anymore. It's like I have the same problem with like the Goonies now and things like that too.
I think for me it's that when I first watched Lady Hawk, I had a real problem with the pacing. And so like I've just come to accept that that's how that movie is told.
Yeah,
I never loved
enough.
it in spite of the pacing.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to look at that. I'm sorry.
There we go. Yeah, it's not just because you hate Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick is like, he's one of the weakest parts of that movie. Like, it feels like he is not prepared for any of his scenes.
He just turned up. What? There's lines? Oh, God.
He's basically just playing Ferris Bueller in like a fantasy setting.
Which, I mean, he did well. He then, took the character and made him slightly more intelligent and did War Games. So it worked.
There you go. Guy playing his type in multiple movies.
To be fair,
it's happened a lot.
Ferris Bueller as if that guy from Lady Hawk got pushed forward into the future. Because Lady Hawk came before Ferris Bueller. Oh my God, what if they're all the same character? And Lady Hawk is just David playing a game on his computer. And that's why he feels like such an author XP. Because he's a player character.
See, this is what happens when you start talking about all these similar movies, is suddenly you start thinking about the idea that all of it is just a shared universe, and you start losing your mind. I can't do this. I cannot go any further. I can't go with you on this journey.
M. Night Shyamalan has taken Unbreakable, Split, and now Glass, and not mentioned they were the same, but hey, by the way, these are all the same.
Oh, no.
Is that what you're thinking Matthew Broderick's whole career is?
Well, to be fair, Split definitely established that it was existing in Unbreakable. Spoilers.
Yes,
that's like the last thing. But the cool thing about Split is like the Pixar theory was like really big on the internet again. And then like in the first scene of Split, I'm like, oh man, all of his movies are connected. Like they have to be. I had also like started watching Shyamalan movies for like the first time in a long time. Like I saw The Happening and I saw Lady in the Water. Criminally underrated. Criminally hated, I'll be completely honest. And like watching them and I'm just like, oh, it'd be very easy for all of these to exist in the same universe. So then at the very end of Split, when they did, I'm like, I'm so happy at how my mind works.
Finally, the connection.
Now I just gotta prove that David from War Games is Matthew Broderick in Lady Hawk. I bet I can do it.
I mean, I feel the producers is going to be a very hard one to fit into that universe.
What if the producers is the framing device of the entire universe?
Oh, God.
And Bialystok has been producing all of these films and finding a role for himself.
Hoping that they'll all fail, or
hoping that all flops?
Hoping that they'll all fail. That's why he puts himself in there. I can't
That's why
act.
he always plays the same role.
Yeah,
because
he's the sabotage.
And why he was so underprepared in Lady Hawk.
We have Melanie Griffith and Rutger Hauer. Dude, this was cool. This was a cool thing that just happened. All right. So the last sort of
the Broderick universe.
The last sort of like similar movie I wanted to talk about. Dale watched Hackers for the first time on my birthday, and in the scene in Hackers where Plague is like, I'm going to change your mother's file, make it so she's a fugitive, she'll be arrested, and then I'll change it back, and she disappears. Dale paused the movie and said, that's just the net. That's just the plot of the net.
Yeah. Good eye, Dale.
And I'm like, yes.
Well spotted.
You're not wrong. In fact, when Hackers came out, they fake hacked their website and the graffiti read, go see the net. Like, they're aware of the similarities between the two and they leaned into it.
Yeah.
Like, so
Perfect
that's just an
example
example
of
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you can use that kind of cross marketing to boost your own and other people.
Yeah. And it's just.
I mean, the others on
Yeah.
the list that I saw, and I think you must maybe saw the same one, Chasing Liberty and First Order.
And I
Oh,
definitely
right,
agree
right.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah, which are Mandy Moore versus Katie Holmes. What else do we have? Ants and A Bug Life.
Yeah,
That's
although once you
weird.
sit down and watch those movies, they're very different, but they did come out very close to each other.
They were both 98 and pretty similar. What else do we have?
Capote and
We mentioned
Infamous.
Shark Tale and
Oh,
Finding Nemo.
yeah.
They weren't really the same, but kind of.
I will forever cite Capote and Infamous because
Yes,
I worked at Hollywood Video, and one of the older women who worked there was like, "Do you see that Infamous?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "That's just Capote," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is. Nice job." But I will
well recognized.
I will also go on record as saying I prefer Infamous to Capote because I like the way that the story is told, as
Daniel
opposed
Craig's
to
in Infamous, right?
what?
Isn't Daniel Craig one of the guys in Infamous?
Yeah, Daniel
Doesn't he play
Craig
one of the-
plays one of
Yes.
the killers in Infamous.
Yeah.
And it's not Toby Huss. I can't think of his last
Jones.
name. Yeah, Toby Jones as Capote. And I feel like
Right.
he does less of a caricature of Capote. Like Philip Seymour Hoffman is a great actor, and I believe that he embodied who Capote was better. But I feel like Toby Jones, in the way that he approached it, made it a more enjoyable story. And I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
And Sandra Bullock.
No arguments.
And Sandra Bullock
That's
is in
fine.
one of those and not the other. I'm pretty sure
think she's
Sandra
in-
Bullock is in Infamous. Yeah, because Catherine
Yes.
Keener is in Capote. Both of them playing Harper Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are
what
two
else
of
do
my
we have?
favorites
What
that
else
do
have I
this.
Yeah, that was definitely. I'd say I can't disagree with you on those ones. There's usually one that is better than the other. Whether it is something like the Friends and Benefits, whatever, where it's the R rating makes it funnier and they can do more stuff, so they're allowed.
Yeah.
You get that slightly better following because all this is a bit more risque. It's better. Or something like Mirror Mirror and Snow White and the Huntsman, where neither were great.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Right,
I will
it's
say
just
this.
a bad shot on both, right?
Sit down and watch Snow White and the Huntsman and then watch the sequel, which I don't remember what it's called at all.
Right.
Winter's War, The Huntsman Winter's
Yeah,
War
the Huntsman
is what it's called. That is such a good double feature because it's like one big movie. And it's so well done. I'm not even kidding. It is so well done.
I will add it to my list because I think I've seen Snow White and the Huntsman, but I've not seen the second one. So
Yeah. And it needs to be like, you need to see him like bam bam to like really get the Reggie and the full effect of it.
like a Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace,
Into
Yes,
Spectre.
very much. Yeah.
you go straight together, and you only really Quantum of Solace does not work as a standalone movie because it's
It's just the coda
It's
to
connective
Casino
tissue.
Royale. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the coda
So
of
basically,
Casino
those-
Royale and the setup of Spectre.
yes. So Skyfall can be different, as we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago.
In real life, not on the podcast.
Yes, real life talk.
IRL.
That's
Well, this has been.
Wait. Before you wrap up, I have one thing. Between Armageddon and Deep Impact, Will, which one do you think is the better film?
Armageddon, hands down.
Okay, Sejin.
Armageddon. Yeah. No,
Okay,
Sure.
and I will be the minority here and say Deep Impact, and maybe it's because Deep Impact is the one that I saw first, but also Deep Impact I feel has had a larger effect on our society and our world as a whole, because that's when Morgan Freeman and Tia Leone met, and if they had never met,
Right.
we would not have had Madam Secretary. And I freaking love watching Madam Secretary.
That is the reasoning
There
why
you
Deep
go.
Impact is better, guys. There you go.
That's
because it's what gave us Madam Secretary.
Madam Secretary's so good. I want to watch it after we record.
I'm going to go and watch Armageddon, so you carry on.
You gonna have your animal crackers so that you can recreate the scene?
Yeah.
Right hand's
All by
Ben
himself.
Affleck, left hand's Liz Taylor. Tyler.
Yeah.
Liv Tyler.
God.
And then I'm going to sing Leaving on a Jet Plane, and it will all be fine.
I'm going to get Space Madness.
It was easier to train drillers to be astronauts than to train astronauts to drill.
I
Yes,
don't
'cause,
believe
you know,
that at all.
Hey, Bruce Willis is a third-generation driller, okay? He's been doing it his whole life. So you can't just say he's not going to be fine in space as well.
Oh man. Oh god. All right, boys.
He's
This has
drilling
been.
everything the Earth can offer.
We've started to get deep into Deep Impact of Armageddon,
We've
and I am
gotten into
done.
the
I
deep-
can't do it.
It's just that Deep Impact had a deeper impact.
Oh god. There it is.
Boom! All right, so
There
thank
it
you
was.
very much for listening to this time capsule episode of the Say Report. Will, thank you so much for joining us. I know that it's difficult to like work out our schedules and to actually do the maths. Time zone math is hard. So the fact that you could
Yep.
be here, we always love to have you. So thank you for, coming out and joining us. Do you
No,
have
it's been great. Thank you very much for inviting me to be on the show
yeah.
and getting to use my quiz that worked really well.
that
Yes.
was
Other topics.
you are you know what if Siegen disagrees, he can disagree right now, but I would like to give you the title of official quizmaster of the Say Report.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm going to make myself a hat.
You should. And do you have anything to plug while you're on the show?
No, I'd say go see Armageddon. I mean, I know it's 20 years old, but you should have seen it by now.
Plug for a 20-year-old movie. That's good.
I mean, vital. Also, I'd say I'm upset we didn't talk about Red Planet and Mission to Mars.
I don't know how similar they are. I think it's just both going to Mars.
Yeah. But, they came out both in 2000, so, pretty... That's about it. That's all I got to say.
Sarah
Go see
said it.
Armageddon.
Ghosts of Mars and The Martian, I think, are really close.
Very close.
Doom. Ah.
There.
There it is.
All right, Will. So thank you so much. If you want to yell at me about any of the choices or things that I've said this episode, you can find me at Devin D. Decker on Twitter.
You can find me at Siege versus the World.
And Will,
I guess you can find me at Fournier09. Good luck guessing how to spell my name. And you can tell me how bad I am at Channing Tatum movies.
Will, would you do me the honor of creating a paradox and throwing to yourself for the outro?
Good. I would like to say, as an intro this week, word to your mother, and please, Will, take it away.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host Devin Decker and Siegen Selwick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.